Glasgow-based ENOUGH Foods makes its Abunda mycoprotein from the same fungi strain as Quorn. But its business model is different, says CEO Jim Laird. Can the market sustain all of this new mycoprotein activity? There seems to be, a bunch of players coming into this market, especially at a time when the alternative meat market seems to be cooling off in some regions.
For me, the market supply is absolutely constrained in this market right now. I think there's trends, we do see softening in the market, but the kind of the environmental crisis and the fundamental drivers for our protein transition have never gone away. And if we look at anybody's forecasts of what that equates to, it means millions of tons of new protein required. And nobody's adding millions of tons of new protein right now. So I love every ounce of added capacity that's coming. And can the market, or does the market need it? Absolutely. And for me, that's where ENOUGH's role is to add capacity. We'll move fast, but we're not moving fast enough. I am plagiarizing my name, but we're not going fast enough, and we need to collectively to go harder and faster. We're located in the south of the Netherlands, and we're there because collaboration with Cargill. But we're also, if you did a 300-kilometer radius around there's 100 million people live within that location of us, so within a 2.5-hour drive. So our focus on the market is probably Western Europe. Peers of North American companies who are so down in this market right now. Whereas I think we do see, I've got one customer who came to our site with 25 of their sales team, which shows their ambition and scale. And they're forecasting a €1 billion business within a decade. And so they alone would take every gram that I can produce. And that's one, and there's more than one. Where I think mycoprotein plays strongest is in white meat applications. So working with a range of customers, we see massive opportunities and real high-scale demand for white meat applications. Mycoprotein can play in other areas. Really interesting in non-dairy as well. So I think non-dairy and white meat for us is where I think we can bring something to the market. Red meat applications, mycoprotein needs a bit of wheat protein or something in there to make it better. But in terms of where the market, I think, gets genuinely excited by mycoprotein is because it makes, to make a vegan chicken breast, really short ingredient lists with simple processing. It's non-hyper-processed food. And that's what I think the market gets excited about. And that's where I think the real scale comes into it. Our collaboration with Cargill started probably 2021 when we started to work for them on our operational co-location, and we think that co-location model is really about synergy and efficiency, and that brings efficiency to...
So they're providing the feedstock for your fungi?
Yeah. So we co-locate on a facility in the south of the Netherlands, and next door is a large starch and sugars plant where they process 2,000 plus tons of grains every day, and from that we bring our feedstock down a pipe, so we get that locality and efficiency in terms of supply chain, and that's one of the many benefits of our collaboration with them.
And then on the other end of it, your sugary wastewater, can that supply bioethanol facility next door? Or?
That's within enough in our journey that we've got a patent which is about that utilising any non-fermented sugar in a added value process, which creates circularity and sustainability, cost efficiency. So one of the reasons we're located next to a refinery is such that we can pass up, we receive the sugar in, we ferment it, we make some beautiful protein, and in that waste stream we've got some non-fermented sugars which we pass back to them, and that helps cost-wise, helps circularity, and that's why we're certainly located there. I think as we think into the future, we'd probably replicate that model wherever we could do.
So tell me a bit about the scaling up process, which is always challenging with any industrial scale facility.
So in Saas-Van-Gent, which is our factory in the Netherlands, we had our first production in the middle of last year, so the middle of 23. That was a little bit less than 2 years after we broke ground, so maybe slightly ambitious in terms of our pace to first production. Candidly, we've had a hard 12 months since then in terms of production efficiencies, but we're addressing that, and when we run at about 1.4 tons an hour, so maybe 5 or 6 cows worth of protein every hour. Our challenge is making the number of hours longer. So when we do it in an annual sense, we get to around about 1,000 tons a month maximum, 5,000 cows worth of protein per month annually or monthly. So that's the scale we're at now. It's big, but in the global sense, it's tiny. So we're 10,000 tons annual versus this 600 million ton protein market. So we see scale, but we see massive unmet need as well. Work with some of the larger meat companies, And from there, we see some really stunning interest. People who are forecasting within 10 years there are 100,000 ton individual demand. So that's where we see it, and that's that nascent piece of we have to go through the stepping stones of getting into supply, seeing the customer feedback collectively, and then building capacity. And that's, I think we see our job as the front end of that value chain, add the capacity, and then that expansive model with B2B, we see the upside in the market. Yeah, well, I mean, we're at Future Food Tech London just now,
Yes.
and I think the narrative in the room is it's a much harder environment than it was several years back, and certainly for the seed and Series A, I think the restriction is there. I think for growth stage, for good quality growth stage, I think there's investor support.